I've seen a lot of Fedora. But yeah, there was a push years back to say, we want to promote, kind of a primary experience for users. That's not to say that we were going to remove other desktop environments, but feedback we were getting from people that wanted to use Fedora who were not technical users, they're not going to jump in and start building software and submitting patches. They just want to use a computer. They were confused. They're like, why is it asking me? I don't know what this means. Do you want GNOME or KDE or LXDE or XFCE? They're like, I don't know what any of this is. Why is and that's fair. So we rethought, like, how do we present these? But now you skip ahead, and on certain hardware, MacBooks, the anything that Asahi runs on, KDE tends to be a little farther ahead in terms of support on that hardware than GNOME does. Now, I haven't tried it in like a year, so that could be totally different. But I know that was a big push because people were coming into the project, joining the community. They would have a MacBook with one of the Apple M whatever processors, and they want to run Linux. And so that's Asahi Linux, which is part of Fedora now. And they would be surprised. They're like, I can't, it's only giving me KDE. Are we like really Fedora, or are we, what's going on here? So I think it was okay what we did, promoting that, because, there's no reason that people shouldn't use it. So it was. Now the other ones, like, we haven't received really any requests to, say, promote XFCE to that level, but I don't think those users are really in the same category as am I on GNOME or KDE. I think it's, somehow it's different.
Well, I think specifically with XFCE, I think first point of order is getting their Wayland version ready. Like,
yep,
they are working on that. That is something that is coming, but if we're talking about, like, and Fedora's always been this distro which jumps ahead and does things. I would argue a little bit too early in some cases. Like, when Fedora enabled Wayland by default, I want to say it was 2013, some really early year.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Sometimes this stuff is too early. But yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's all good. It's good. With a distro that sort of has that, like, legacy of wanting to push forward modern technology, making a distro making a desktop that only has the X11 version ready, put alongside like GNOME and KDE, it doesn't really fit with sort of what the distro is trying to do at this point.
Absolutely, yeah, and it adds a lot to the testing matrix and sort of, what has to be ready to actually, call it the release. And so yeah, the work builds up that way.
Right. And if you're gonna have an X version, then X has to be a blocking problem. And with GNOME and KDE dropping the X11 versions,
yeah,
I've spoken to a number of Fedora people that do not want to deal with X11 at this point. Are very happy to just not have that be a blocking problem anymore.
Yeah, no, and it's so definitely Wayland by default was not without controversy or pushback, but I will say that doing that in Fedora does allow us to really take those new technologies and iron them out. So maybe make a default in whatever release, and then that bakes for several releases, and then it's really just solid. And we've done that for a number of things, and a lot of upstream developers on these things, on various projects, are also working on Fedora. So it's kind of a natural fit to do it there, I think.
I was a little bit early. It was 2016 that it was made default for GNOME.
That sounds right.
Yeah, Fedora 21. So that would have been 2014, something like that. It was introduced.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sounds right. I can't remember.
Yeah, I this is just what I'm seeing in the AI overview that shows up on the search engine. It could be wrong. I don't know. That sounds somewhat right though.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.